know that scene with Tom Hanks. Well, almost exactly 12 years to the day that Tom Hanks' melodrama Castaway hit theaters, a real-life castaway started his unbelievable journey. It's a story that has the whole world scared to its head. How can this man, been wondering, Jose Salvador, survive for 13 months stranded? It's impossible. Given time, this is that's more than 66 million miles. Now he's talking
Hey, I'm Trapper Terry, and I just had a nightmare. I've been floating all night, and I finally made it. I don't even know where I am. I'm on some deserted island out in the middle of nowhere. I just hope I can survive. So, on that note, thank goodness I took this with me. My life preserver. I got my hat to keep the sun off me, and I got a bag with a knife, little bits of food and water. I'm gonna try to survive on that. So follow me along.
Your take on this. Let's talk about what he ate and drank. For food, says he would catch, kill, and eat fish, turtles, and birds. And to drink, he relied on rainwater, turtle blood, and sometimes his own urine. So I guess a survivalist in a way. Is that the stuff that you're going to go after if you were caught out there and went through the same thing?
In a situation, if you're ever in this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay calm. If all of a sudden I just came right now to this island and I started freaking out and going, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it, I won't. I have a plan. And here's the thing. First of all, I got my life preserver in case I need it again to build another raft. I was able to salvage that. I got a water bottle, and I got about, maybe it's full to right about here. That can last me like a couple days. Another thing I have in here, my knife. Luckily I had that. I was able to get that for the boat sunk, and I wasn't able to get much else. I found this right here. It's a mantis shrimp rig that I keep for mantis shrimp rigging. Hopefully if I can get some bait, I can catch some fish. And, aha, wet, this is terrible, wet peanuts and nuts. That's it. So obviously you can tell I'm gonna have to find another food source. My main goal is shelter. I kind of like this spot up here. It's a good lookout. I can see out in the ocean. I can see if there's any ships that come in that I could possibly do an SOS or smoke signal. I brought a little fire starter that I've had for years. I usually keep it in here. It should be always in the top, and the bad thing is it got a little wet, so we'll see what happens. But I can survive off raw food too. All right, so I've decided to do a lean-to. I want an area right here, so if the wind blows from this way, I'm gonna have it all blocked, and this is gonna be my shelter down here. Go. We got fire! We got fire! Woo! So all we do is just add more sticks to it and get it going. And there's my fire to boil water and cook food with. Wow, that was hard to do, I'll tell you. Even with the fire starter, it's hot out here on this island. It's windy. It's been wet from rain, monsoons coming on and off throughout the days since I've been here. But I finally got fire. Yeah, some things you can actually eat on these rocks. These barnacles, believe it or not, if I take my knife and knock some of these off of here and boil them up over the fire, you'll get enough protein out of them to get you through the night. You can see it's pretty gnarly rock right here. This Bahamian rock called Anastasia limestone. Looks like there's a cave down in here. You don't want to get tossed around in that. That could be super dangerous. I'm trying to find a thing called a limpet. That's a limpet right there. Kind of bust that little bugger off the rock. If you can't get them off the rock, you find another rock or shell like this one and just, there you go. Tap the little bugger off. And then from here, that inside is all edible right there. You can eat it raw, which I'm going to show you in a second, or you can cook a bunch of them up, but they're all over these rocks. Best way to eat a limpet, scrape inside of it like this. Get it out of the shell. See, it's out of the shell. And then there's this little bit of black stuff. You don't want to eat that. That's their little poo sac. You just kind of squish it all out like that. And then down here in the water, just wash it off real good. Get all that pooey stuff out. And what you're left with is this killer little edible mini abalone. So, as you can see, me being trapped on a deserted island isn't really a big deal. I can eat limpets. Those barnacles, you can eat them raw too. These are things you don't have to cook. You can eat shellfish, like there's little snails on the rocks. You can eat those. If fish are trapped in these pools, you take a rock and smash the fish, scoop out its guts, eat the whole fish, little minnows. That's pure raw protein, you don't even have to cook it. For stuff you gotta cook, if you find like an iguana or lizards, birds, land crabs, I have to start that fire again or keep it going and cook those. Containers you can use, if you can find certain rocks around here that are kind of carved out and broken, you can use those to heat up. You can use those to cook things on, flat top. In addition to that, if you get a coconut, you can easily break it in half on these rocks and use that hard part of the shell, broken in half, use it as a boiling pot for water. It'll work perfect, especially on a hot rock. And you can drink water and you can cook your crabs and anything you want in there. And even make soups and broth. About the way to do desalinization, if you find plastic in something to heat up the salt water, it'll actually do little drips of condensation that'll be fresh. You can find swampy areas, and with that fire I started earlier, you can boil the water. I showed you food, but now this is another source. You see this right here? It's called a prickly pear cactus. And the reason it's called prickly pear is because, check it out, it's got little prickles on it. But if you peel them off like this, cut these little buggers right off, so you don't get those spines in your mouth, you'll be hating life. Right in there. Tastes like a watermelon. Nice source of water. You can eat this all day long, and the fluids in it will keep you hydrated enough until you find some more water or boil water. So I just want to tell you, this is called a prickly pear cactus. And another thing is, right here, those little guys turn purple. If you cut those sharp sides off, they taste just like a pomegranate. So there you go, prickly pear cactus, another way to survive.